Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Maritime Deluxe. I am your host, Billy Cole. Today I am joined by Chuck Dauphinee, a chiropractor from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Chuck started the Halifax Mussels, which is an LGBTQ plus hockey team based out of Halifax, encouraging people to come out and play hockey who may not be comfortable trying out new sports. In this episode, we talk about Chuck and his struggle coming out to his parents, and the start of the Halifax Mussels, and more. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. It's the Apple versus PC, I guess. This is the Apple.
Yeah, all set now though. It's been a tough world trying to adjust to all these online meetings.
Yeah.
How have you been?
Good.
Good,
Yeah,
good. So before we start, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Chuck Dauphinee, and I'm a chiropractor, a local chiropractor in the city. And from what I gather, we're talking about the initiative that I started, the Halifax Mussels. It's like the first 2S LGBTQ plus hockey league in Atlantic, Canada, actually, in 2017. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely talk about that and a little bit about yourself. So I'm just wondering what your life was growing up, how you got into sports and chiropractic, and your initiative to start this team.
Yeah, I mean, my parents tried to put me into sports at a young age. I did quite young. I did identify as gay. I didn't really know what that meant at the time, but I knew it was different, so I had to kind of grow up fairly quickly. Just people kind of guessed based on mannerisms, and I hid it for years and years and years. And but I was one of the kids that wanted to fit in so bad, and I wanted to be popular. So I really tried everything to fit in. So I mean, I did try hockey. I didn't really feel comfortable in with that sport so much. Like my mom, I grew really fast as a kid, and just putting on the skates and stuff, it was killing my Achilles heel from what she gathered. I definitely was probably a pain with that sport, and eventually got into soccer, which was also kind of difficult during growing pains. But eventually, I still continued in sports. I tried almost every sport, include I got into basketball, volleyball, and eventually kind of found rowing as a big passion. And but the part, when this was in high school, and but this is what kind of drove me into mechanics, because the technique of rowing and pulling water and the training was really intense, in the gym. And it actually got me to connect more with some of the friends that I really wanted to hang out with, which were the hockey players and the football players and stuff. So I really connected with the gym the most. And so my workouts were very similar to the football hockey team. So I eventually continued mainly with the weightlifting portion, more like bodybuilding. And yeah, then an injury happened, just before Instagram, I didn't know squatting technique at the time. And I was lifting tons of weight, and then I basically hurt my back really bad, and then I went on this sort of therapy journey. I was in engineering at the time. I did mechanical engineering, and so I was working out really heavy. And so from there, I came out in engineering too. So the whole time I was in the closet going through all these sports, trying to find a sport that I really fit in. But I was really connecting to my masculinity, hardcore. I was dating a ton of girls. I was breaking a lot of hearts and I was confused a little bit. I mean, I kind of knew I would get to a place where I was safe eventually. I felt like if I moved to a bigger city, it would be better, but there was still not really a lot of information about being gay when I grew up.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was in engineering, I came out and everyone was really accepting, and it was mainly like a male dominated field, especially in mechanics, because I was really interested in cars and planes at the time, but then eventually got super interested in biotechnology and artificial limbs and hips and pacemakers. So when I started to like focus my engineering career on that, I realized that the human body was the parts that were given, you can't replace those. Like I mean, I spent many labs and even worked with patients with some of the gadgets that we can make for them. But really then my journey kind of became like, how do I preserve my body? And then when I had that injury, it was kind of at the same time I was looking for someone to kind of fix my back because I want to get back to the gym, and then I kind of like I tried a lot of different therapies. Like everyone's kind of got their story with therapies. Like sometimes it was the physio that fixed them, sometimes it's the osteopath or whatever. But for me, like I tried everything, like acupuncture or whatever, but it was really the chiropractic manipulations that really like just opened me up. Like I think it was probably just from years rowing and lifting heavy weights. And then so I kind of switched my, I was working as an engineer and then I got into chiropractic, and it just made sense. Like so now, I mean, when I graduated, I really like kind of wanted to work in sports just because the chiropractors that worked in sport seemed to know a lot about more about the mechanics. So I trained under a sport chiropractor for several years, and eventually, I worked with so many like different types of sports because of him. And he my cat talks, sorry. Can you hear that?
A little bit, but that's fine.
he kind of sings. Anyway, yeah, like, and I like I've done like, from not like curling events like the Briar to hockey to football, and like most of my like the sport coverage I had was like traumatic sports or like more like contact sports. So but yeah, it was just like working with those teams. It kind of brought back memories of me wanting to skate again, because like all the other sports seemed cool. Like I'm now I even curl because of that, and I'm like but it was watching, like I got really involved with Hockey Nova Scotia, and I still am. But watching the performance camps and like watching the athletes, like how to develop an athlete, and working behind the scenes as a chiropractor and slash trainer, I got to really see how to build an athlete. And like it was something I never really got to do myself growing up. And then I was lucky enough that I had another chiropractor colleague that used my like some of my experience to kind of like gain the Sidney Crosby hockey school. So we worked there for 3 years. I mean, they haven't had it on for a while. And that school with Sidney and meeting him was like game changing. Like I still hadn't played hockey at this point, and I got to see what the kids were going through. Like I mean, I saw it at a high level, like tryouts to go to the Canada Games team, but then with Sidney, it was like they got the kids from all over the world to play these little drills and stuff that I just wanted to do that so bad. And then eventually I just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get skates again, buy the gear. And I went and did like skating lessons, and started playing like in straight leagues and like just pickup leagues around the city. And I just fell in love with it. But eventually, again, that uncomfortableness in the locker rooms, and it's really weird. Like even sometimes behind the scenes as a chiropractor, you almost kind of go in the closet all the time. Like it's really strange to be gay sometimes, because you don't know the audience and like you don't know what people are thinking. So here I am playing. I was loving the game, but I just really kind of craved maybe doing it with my community and like some of my friends. But
Yeah.
yeah, so anyway, I could talk on and on about that, but
Definitely sounds like a lot we can talk about. But you mentioned that you said you knew you were gay when you were quite young. How old were you?
I think I was 5, like around that time, because it
Yeah.
was before elementary school.
Okay.
So
And you said you didn't come out for quite some time. I think you said you were in
19.
19. What was that
So
time
yeah.
like before that, between 5 and 19, knowing that and not being not I'm not sure how you felt, but not coming out, how did that make you feel?
Uh I don't know. I'm just so blessed. I had like the best family.
Mhm.
We grew up laughing all the time, so they're the ones that really kept me going. And luckily, like when I look back on my life, it wasn't really bad. Like if anything, it was, I just I really like I'm very social. I just really like had always had good friends growing up. I mean, people like there was many times like I got really good at lying. Like
Right.
people would say, why is your voice so high? Like, especially like when I was quite young, like this is like when people used to call each other on the phone. And there was no texting. But like I would call like my friend Jeremy, for instance, and his dad would answer. And I know his dad would know who it was, because like, we had caller ID. Like, so it wasn't
Yeah.
that I'm not that old, but he would always go, Jeremy, there's a girl on the phone. So like
Mhm.
I was always self-conscious on my voice. It didn't really like drop. I mean, sometimes you can still hear it. It's a little higher, but that's not always the case. Like I always thought that was like, like a gaydar type thing. Like you had to have a high pitched voice, but like there was a lot of mannerisms. Like, I mean, I grew up playing Barbies with my sister. Like I had an older sister, so I kind of just did everything she did, and I really looked up to her. And like there was literally my parents just let me be who I was. There was one Christmas though that Santa didn't bring the Barbie that I asked for, and I got a Ken doll, and
Mhm.
I was pretty upset about that. But yeah, so it was confusing. I never really like had many not really many dark times. I always had such good friends around me. But like, now I'm an advocate for our community, and like some of the stories like people growing up were, horrendous. So I
Yeah.
was lucky. But I just, because I've always wanted to, I guess I've always thought I knew I was always a social person, so I just always like wanted to be popular, which was probably like, you know a good and bad thing. But I don't know. I somehow was able to, people really liked me. So, and
Yeah.
it's just about being like I guess I just let my personality shine through, except I hid the sexuality part like very like, and I was really pushing myself on women a lot, and women were pushing themselves on me. So it was kind of like made sense, I guess, at the time.
Mhm. And then after coming out at 19, what was the feeling like after that? Just did you feel like more free?
Yeah, like I was getting to a point, like, I mean, I was drinking like in high school and stuff. Like, I mean, we all were like a
Mhm.
little bit underage, but yeah, it was, yeah, it's just like there was like a lot of counseling and stuff too, that I had to go through. I reached out to um like a counselor this was at Dow, and they helped me like formulate, a way to tell my parents, which was like I couldn't just sit down and say like, okay, I've known you for my whole life, and I'm gonna tell you he's singing. I'm gonna tell you like, that I've been someone else the whole my whole life, which I haven't. Like it was just I never told them about my sexuality. So like um but I did, like a lot of us in this community, we tell strangers first. Like we don't tell anyone that we grew up with. It's really odd. So I was actually skiing in the States, and this is like the first time I actually told someone, and then eventually got counseling. But I used to do a lot of downhill skiing, and there was a guy in the ski shop, and I was so desperate like to tell someone, but I just didn't know what to do. And then I was like, okay, I'm in another country and no one knows me. So I was in the ski lodge, and I noticed that the guy that was sharpening the skates, like he had that, like when he started talking to people, he was like super high pitched voice. So I kind of went by that as well, because I thought it was a stereotype, which I mean, I guess, I don't know, I lucked out and he was. And I told him, and luckily he wasn't, he was an angel, not someone that, would, like, I mean, I was, 19 at the time. So, but he was a little older, not like by much, maybe a few years, but he really like helped me. And then when he wanted to come visit me in Canada, that's when I like had to get counseling, because he was coming, to Canada. And at the time I was, I was still in the closet with all my friends and family. So he went, and he was very flamboyant, and I had kind of tried to hide all that. So that was very scary, that I eventually had to tell one of my friends to give me an kind of an alibi, because I was very, had quite a huge group of friends. Like, I had bros and a whole bunch of girls. Like I actually had kind of a girlfriend at the time. And so I needed like someone to tell all my friends that I wasn't going to be coming out, that I had something else to do. But I was with him the whole time. So it was very scary to like when you start to like, come out, it's in process. Like it's like a constant process, because I'm an invisible minority. So you always have to come out. It's really odd.
And what were your parents' reaction when you first did? And well, your family in general, I should ask.
Like I told my parents last, like I was 24.
Okay.
Unfortunately. But they were like, I told my sister, my older sister first. So we were sharing a car at the time, and it always comes down to, like, for me, it was always like I had to tell someone, but it was because the situation was getting too heavy. Like I was lying too much, or like my sister and I were sharing a car, and we used to go to the same bars together, and then I was supposed to pick her up, and then I was somewhere else, right? I was at a gay bar. So she kind of caught me in a lie, and I had to tell her like the truth. And it was, we were like scraping the car together, going to university. We were going to like UND at the time. And anyway, my parents, I had to actually write letters. Like I had to formulate a letter. That's when I went to see counselors, because I knew I was getting to a point where I was lying to them too much, and I was just finishing my engineering degree, and it was just like too many exams, and I was dating some guys, like one at a time. and but I wrote them the exact same letter, and I wanted to tell them at the same time. So they were renovating an apartment they were going to rent out, and I had a key to my dad's truck. So I drove there, dropped the letters off in my dad's truck, and took off. The counselor I was working with told me to like have a backup plan, like just in case, like my last year of university, I was living at home. And so I like was going to stay with my cousin if something, happened. So, and it did. My dad was surprisingly took it good. He, which I thought was going to be the opposite, because my dad, we hunted and fished all the time. Like he treated me like a man the whole time. Like I really, was, he made me do all like the man stuff, like, all the labor stuff around the house. And then my mom I was really, like, I'm still really close with, but at the time was like just as well. I mean, I was close in a different way, I guess. And, I thought she was going to take it really good, but she, like, when she read that first line, like, I'm gay, but I'm the same person that you've known? I don't really remember. It was a pretty long letter.
Uh-huh.
um she didn't take it so well.
Really?
And she no and I mean, like, a lot of people, like, so she, like, it was only a couple days though, but I went to get my stuff. Like, I stayed at my cousin's that night, and she said that, I think it was just hard for her, but I know what that's all about, because she's just so protective of me that she didn't want anyone to make fun of me. She knew what, like, her generation said about gay people, and that it could be dangerous. And
Mm-hmm.
but literally, I went to go get my things the next day, and my mom was like, you know what? If we're gonna get, I don't want you to leave, and if we're gonna get through this, we need to do it together. Like, she just needed to understand. It was just a shock, like, she just thought it was sensitive, I guess. But so she went and yeah, like, we made dinner that night, and then it was like literally like one day. She just needed to process it. Like, yeah, she's Irish, from the redhead, so she has a temper, but she's like literally like one of my best friends, like probably my best friend for sure. Like we're so close because of it. And I was just lucky that she had the reaction, and then, like, saw that she was the better person. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think I would be, if I had a child and I was straight and they said they were gay, I don't know, I think I might react a bit more as in a protective way, and that's what she did.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And going forward to 2017, where you started the Halifax Mussels,
mhm.
what was the process into starting that team?
um I was always in a leadership position, like, younger. Like, I was president of my high school, president of the engineering society. So I was always like, and I even had personality tests where I'm like, I can come up with like ideas. Like, I'm like, I was always the idea generator, as like in those leadership roles. And then I had like my, the rest of the council to do the, like, to make it work. Right. So I don't know. I had started a gay volleyball team, and that's something I did on the side, like, first, because I was always into volleyball too. And it was just really hard to book the courts around here. I work at a St. Mary's
Mm-hmm.
and Canada Games, but I'm in sport facilities, so it was easy to get courts and stuff. But then I wanted to switch to hockey, and then I was like, oh, if I can do that with volleyball, um, I can do it with hockey. So it was just I knew that I had to come up with a logo. I always want to see, like, the vision. Like, you need to have a logo and a team name, and which my mom helped me with, and my sister. And I was in a straight league at the time that was all Halifax based names, co-ed. So I was thinking about starting my own team with a Halifax name. Like, the team names were like the Highlanders, the Citadels, like, I played on the Destroyers. But I wanted to make a gay team, and then insert it into the straight league. And but I knew I had to do like a hockey camp. So I did, I rented the ice for like 6 sessions. And because I worked with like a lot of different coaches and athletes in hockey, like, I had, some of those like higher level coaches and stuff come out for like individual games, and then we had some of the athletes helping us out as coaches. And then I had to spread the word. So I sent it all over Facebook, and got like a lot of my friends to get gear. I included, like, my sister came out, like a lot of like straight allies came out. But then it got word, I don't know how, I forget when I started promoting it, but there was trans athletes that came out, there was lesbians. I mean, now we have non-binary. I mean, maybe there was someone that identified as that, but it was full. I mean, I kept it cheap. Like, I kept it like, it's like we weren't trying to make money, or I wasn't trying to make money, because it was just me at the time. But I included the jerseys, and like I kind of just took what I remembered from working at all these like hockey camps, like what players, like I really wanted to treat everyone like an athlete and like really get the whole experience, like the warm up, the drills had to be simple. And then if there was someone that was a little like had played when they were younger, we had breakout sessions for them. I had goalie coaches. I really thought of everything in a way to make it feel like we were really preparing to get ready for a tournament. But what happened was we had 6 sessions and everyone was loving it, but there was a lot of new players. Like we had one coach that had to like drag one of the guys on a, like with a hockey stick. Like
Yeah,
they had to pull him along.
one of the lockers, right?
And so by the time the camp was over, we were not ready to play in the league I was playing in. The league I was playing with it was beginner intermediate, but it was pretty fast.
Right.
And one of the trans athletes came up to me and like really, really made me think. Like he goes, Chuck, like he goes, when I was in hockey, like as a girl, and transitioning, he had nowhere to go because I think the women kind of shunned him, or it was
Right.
maybe thought it was an unfair advantage, and then he didn't feel comfortable going into the male leagues. And he was like, what are you going to do with this? And like at the time I was like thinking I'd have to continue like more skill sessions and just work with our group because we were really getting tight. So that's what happened is we just started like playing like once a week, and we'd have like skills for part of it and then play a game at the end just to kind of get these new athletes, like some hadn't played or some didn't feel comfortable playing with straight, like in a straight league yet.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, it was all word of mouth, and then it just sort of built from there. Like I had no idea it was gonna grow, like it would be still going. I just thought it was gonna be something fun to do for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really think that far ahead. Well, I was thinking to put it into the straight league, but that didn't work. We continue as our
as a gay man who played in the straight league, like you said, and you said maybe some people might not be comfortable playing in the straight league. Why do you think people may feel that way? And did you ever feel that way yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just like I felt comfortable. I mean, I didn't like, I wasn't like my 100% true self in the locker rooms. Like it's a little like daunting, I guess. It was just something that I always had an issue with when I was younger in any sport. But the thing I didn't like about it, and some of them was, you just show up. Like, I mean, I was on a team, but like some of the other like I was playing like shinny other nights, and like some of the other play like the guy, like someone, like I played in Cole Harbour Place and a couple other places, they were so awesome. But like a lot of these like shinny leagues, like they've been playing together forever, but they do like having spares coming. I mean, not that they weren't super welcoming, but it was just like the conversations were a little different than like what like my gay friends and stuff and talk about. And it's not really about that, but it's just about like being yourself. So there wasn't really like that opportunity to, I don't know. I just felt that I'd close up whenever like someone was going to ask me something. So about like, I don't know, maybe like relationships. I don't know. We didn't really get into that, but there was just like this sense that it was just like super hyper masculine like vibes in the room. Like, and then also when you go to the shinny, you either bring like a dark or light jersey, so like you don't really know which team you're going to be on. You're kind of like, oh, should I be on this team or that team? Like, so, and then sometimes they're unbalanced. And so what I wanted to do is make sure that when you show up, like which team you're on, if you're like light or dark. You also know what position you're playing. You have a team captain, like that's how we're a little different. I did enjoy like the ref games versus like, okay, we're just gonna like keep playing and like we don't even keep score. We kept score. Like I feel that that's really important. It is a lot more organizing. And then there was one other like shinny league I went to that was so much fun. There was they played like heavy metal. I know it's not super, it's probably dangerous to like not be able to hear much, but I took that and I had like got one of my friends to DJ, and so she played like a lot of very like, I don't think like the Halifax Forum has really heard that much Cher and Britney in a long time, but we played like super, gay anthems and straight anthems, but everyone kind of knew it was the Muscles, because I remember we told someone like, you should come watch us play, and they didn't think they were in the right arena at first, and then they heard the music and they're like, yeah, that's the gate. So I don't know, I guess I felt like it was fun, but I wanted to I don't know, I guess I just wanted it to be a little bit more like, add a bit more spice and glitter to it, like our like, luckily when I was in Toronto studying to be a chiropractor, I did play in gay sports, but it was volleyball, which and playing like, and doing and being social with our community, it's like a lot of people that they were all like, they might have played sports when they were younger, but they weren't the bros, right? Like we acted like we were bros, but
Mm-hmm.
now like we almost like we're almost like overly gay, because we've kind of suppressed it for so long.
Yeah.
So I think that's where gay sports differ, is that we don't take it as seriously, we don't play as rough either. And that's actually one of our like advertising components to our league, is that a lot of the straight guys like to play with us, because we're not like as rough as every other team, like, and not that
Mm-hmm.
they're like super rough, but like we actually want to pass, we want to give like beginners a chance to like carry the puck. uh I don't know, it's just like, I find that like most people's stories, it's like they didn't feel comfortable, mainly because they didn't have as much experience as I did, like being with so many jocks my whole life and working behind the scenes with athletes right now. So I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
comfortable in my own skin, but it took me a while. Where a lot of them like have not had the experiences I had in sports, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't know how to like interact with like in the dressing room, like they don't really have as much experience as I had. So when we started this, like we even had like, I had to go out and get someone out of their car and walk them into the dressing room, like that.
Wow.
This is during the Muscles, and they were like so anxious, like they wanted to be included, but I think that they just all had, people had worse experiences than I did going in sports.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, with yourself playing many sports, like you said, there's this culture to hockey, the stereotypical look, maybe missing teeth, these bone crushing hits. You know what people say, mostly in the States where hockey isn't as popular. Do you think maybe that could also have scared people off, just the stereotypical and the culture of hockey?
Yeah, there's well, I help out with the Hockey Nova Scotia. Well, we just kind of had a presentation to the board of Hockey Nova Scotia about diversity and inclusion, and one of the we had like a survey that went out to everyone, but one of the points was like, there wasn't a sense of belonging. So yes, the sport is quite rough. There's like lots of movies out about, like the teeth getting knocked out and like all that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. But what's the issue is there's no role models, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a player that came out in professional hockey, I mean, in the New Brunswick, but like no one in Nova Scotia, like no one other than like female hockey is quite open. Like female hockey is a different beast altogether. They're very inclusive, and there's women tend to accept more than like men, when it comes to feelings, and away from my feelings, and now I'm trying to like connect back into my like femininity, and who I was as a kid. And that kid was like, that little Chuck, or well, Charles is my real name, but I was a very feminine. I spent most of my life trying not to have feelings. Like, I mean, like really connecting to a female sense of things. So you know, that like a lot of us in this, like, that are gay, we just didn't have a role model that was open, so we just didn't really think it was a place for us. And it is, some of the things I've heard in, like, you know like in hockey, behind the scenes, like as a chiropractor, actually, like where I've been on tournaments on the road, and
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty it's pretty, like, there's a lot of, like, it sounds like homophobia, like even like the chirping in the
Right.
stands.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's gonna change though. Like I feel like Hockey Nova Scotia is really taking a lot of steps to make the hockey culture better, and it's going to make it more inclusive for sure. It's going to take a long time, but I think hockey is probably like the most, um, it's a very intimidating sport to be part of,
Mm-hmm.
personally. But
And I did want to ask you about what organizations like Hockey Nova Scotia are doing, and pro sports like the NHL. But you did mention a hockey player in New Brunswick to come out from Moncton, New Brunswick, Yannick Duplessis.
yes,
I think I'm saying that right. I may be butchering it. But to
yeah, I
have
would
that
butcher it
role
too.
model like that, what does that mean for yourself and other players?
It just means it's changing. Like, I mean, his teammates, from what I've gathered, really like accepted him. It's gonna mean like younger players are gonna come up, like, or younger kids. Like when I was a kid, I didn't have, like, there was no one like that, like not in any sport really. It will probably just make you want to play. Like it would have made me want to play when I was younger, or maybe continue, maybe push through, like, some of my awkwardness. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's what needs to change for like gay sports, is there needs to be more people like to come out of the closet and to speak about it.
Hmm.
So
And I know there was I think it was 2014. It wasn't hockey, but it was in the NBA. Jason Collins had came out and for the Brooklyn Nets. But I know he at the time there was a lot of obviously you go on Twitter, you're gonna see some negative messages. I'm wondering if there are any negative reception around Halifax or the Nova Scotia area when you first started this organization.
mostly from my community.
Really?
um yeah, like a lot of my friends, they didn't think that there was any gay hockey players. They're like, there's no one that plays hockey that's gay. I mean, I knew some guys that had played, and I had reached out to them, like, so I knew there was, and if anything, that lit a fire under me to make it successful. But yeah, there was not really any backlash. Like and then even when, like, on Facebook, there's a Halifax hockey community, and we had shared like links to like registering for, like, some of our skills camps, to like our shinny nights. And we had so many people outpour, like, and want to play with us, and a lot of straight guys, like, they had no they didn't care. Like they actually loved it. Like some of them actually left their nights to come play with us. And now actually my old captain of the Destroyers, he preferred playing with Muscles over like that league, and he left, and now he's like our like lead organizer now of like, because like I've had to like enlist more people to help because it started getting bigger.
Mhm.
And we have a board and everything, and it's the straight guys that have really like helped, really kind of like, because we didn't really know how to like grow it. And like, and when you bring more people to the table, like we have, a trans representative like on the board, we have a non-binary representative on the board, we have, gay guys, lesbians, and two straight guys. And when we bring all those voices together, like, and then we attract more people, like we attract all those communities. So we're actually going to be expanding, hopefully like this fall, to 3 to 4 nights a week. I mean, depending on like all these restrictions,
Mhm.
because we've started and stopped and started and stopped with this, like every other sport. But Hockey Nova Scotia is also going to try to do this. It's called the 50-30 challenge, which was kind of by the government. larger companies are doing it, where like 50% of like major committees or boards are going to be comprised of like 50% male female, and 30%, the 50-30, like 30 part is having a very diverse, like 30% of those members would be like, you know, of other races, genders, 2S LGBTQ plus, and actually people with disabilities too. And so like all that work I've done with them, I was the LGBTQ rep, and then I worked with the organizers of the Black Youth Hockey Group and the Indigenous Hockey Group and the sledge hockey organizer slash athlete, and human rights lawyer. Like it was like this whole year, like, well, actually it was, we started this in 2019, over a year, like a year and a half roughly. I had no idea I would like be this involved. I was just trying to like, I just was doing it more to play the sport, and now it's like I'm realizing that I'm like, I've grown so much to understand like what everyone else is going through, like, so like invisible minorities like us, but to like the people of color and people with disabilities, it's been quite a struggle. And I feel like if anyone wants to grow like their hockey leagues or whatever, it's really getting like a lot of different voices, and you can hear like we're even with our league, we do surveys to see how everything's going and getting feedback and from the players just to make it better. Like you can always be better.
Mm-hmm. You seem to be like a role model, so to say. How how would that make you feel, that younger kids who may be not confident enough to come out when they're feeling this way, not being able to come out, or not feeling like they're able to play sports? How does that make you feel that you are someone that they would look up to?
Yeah, like I don't know, I never really thought of that as much, but uh I have toyed with the idea because of what has happened with Hockey Nova Scotia, and I feel like for me, I can see myself in the future doing something like the opposite of a conversion, a gay, like a conversion camp, like like how people convert. There's these like conversion therapy camps,
Okay.
and I kind of want to. It really like hit me. I'm taking a leadership course right now, and there was some, and it was like I was away on a retreat actually in the pandemic, and when I got back to like reality, like we didn't really have access to internet, and there was all these like posts on all my gay friends on my Instagram that they were bringing back, like some of the members of parliament, like for the Conservative Party, were voting to reinstate like a law to bring back conversion therapy. And I just thought of myself as a kid and all those little kids that would think that being gay is wrong and that they had to go and like get electric shock therapy and all that stuff. So because of what I've done for like this team, the Mussels, and like some of the feedback I've got, I feel like I do need to connect with more gays, like more, and not just hockey, like other sports, that I have kind of thought about doing like the opposite of conversion camp, and like just do a camp where we really connect to our masculine side, because like a lot of the younger gays don't have to do what I did. Like they didn't have to try to be straight like but a lot of them need to connect to their masculine side, and some are already connected to their feminine, or they've hidden that. But I really feel like I would like to do something like that where I bring in coaches again and maybe even like learn how to throw a ball properly, like learn how to like kick a ball properly, and like even I don't know, I've thought about like even just learning how to like teaching people like how to work out and like connect to their body and be confident, because I was lucky that I stayed in sports. Like even though I tried different ones, working out and like being athletic made me confident, and it and it hid me within all the jocks. I'm a big guy, so like I was hanging out with football players, but I was rowing. um and and a lot of gay guys especially like contact me or like message me and they say like, can you show me how to work out? And like, I don't really have the time to take everyone to the gym. I used to be a personal trainer, um but as a chiropractor, I'm like, that's my main focus is that. But I do feel like I want to do at some point is have a group of people from my community and show them how to like train to be an athlete, and then maybe pick a sport, like, or give them like a little bit of examples of like dribbling a ball or shooting a ball, or just so they get like a little variety, because like hockey's not for everyone. It's a big investment. It's definitely so exciting though, but but I really do see myself doing like the opposite of like gay conversion, is make people gay, but I don't know, it's like confidence camp, I guess.
Right.
I thought about it for like, I don't know, for a while now.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of future plans, I had read this article. I can't remember, I think it was 2019, I want to say, but you had said you wanted to go to, I think, Toronto or Montreal because there are more gay leagues there. What's the update with that? Have you come any closer to that?
Well, like there is a Western Cup and a Canada Cup. Canada Cup is usually between like Toronto and Ontario. Like those leagues are huge. Like it's all gay men. So we're trying to figure out, well, especially with the restrictions and stuff. But we've been invited. Well, one year we just couldn't really like, it's quite a lot of money to bring all your gear out there and stuff. So I don't think we would have had a full team, but now we have tons of guys and girls that would want to go. So my role now is I want to help develop, like if we pick a team, like we do it similar to like just like a hockey camp, like really make it competitive, like really see what like a lot of these athletes do to make a team, like almost like a team Nova Scotia or team Mussels, I guess. And then we would be the first team from the Atlantic Canada to enter one of those groups, and they know about us because like some of the teams, like all the bigger cities have teams, and we're kind of like one of the last bigger cities to get one, I guess. So I really want to work with the team behind the scenes. I mean, I would probably, well, no joke, would still probably play if I make the team, but I like, it has to, like I would literally bring people from outside to like really make sure that like the skills are high, because it's pretty like fast hockey in Toronto, Montreal, and West. And so I would definitely probably like more so take along the lines as like the team chiropractor, and I would really make sure they were like super fit, they really understood how to warm up, they like the training wouldn't be easy, like the gym programs, the and making sure they understand therapy, not just with me, but like I know a lot of therapists in the city that can help. And I really just want to show them that we're really good at hockey over here, but I really want to make it really competitive, and not everyone's going to make the team. It's just the way it goes, even the Mussels.
Yeah, you had mentioned some of these other cities have teams. I was looking on the NHL website, and I noticed they had a section dedicated to these teams, and you guys were on it. What does it mean to be on a
really
web? Yeah, actually, I'll just get the link up here. It was
I
under
didn't know that.
Yeah, the NHL.com/community/pride/celebrations. So obviously this is news to you. What's it mean to have your team on the website of one of the most famous leagues in the world?
Well, I don't know, I'm speechless. I was never thinking that. I mean, I did have a conversation with Sidney Crosby like at one of the like his hockey camps. They always had a party after, like I even got to drink out of the Stanley Cup with him pouring it, like pre-COVID. We were all drinking out of the same Stanley Cup. And I told him about what I was doing, and and he was really excited for me. He's like, that was, you have like, let me know how it's going. I mean, I haven't seen him since, because like ever since, the last hockey camp, it was delayed. So, but I mean, at least like I knew he knew.
Mhm.
But yeah, I didn't know that it was on the NHL website. But I mean, I think that's just showing that like the NHL is progressing, and that, it's baby steps. But man, like it's like even Hockey Nova Scotia did a video of us not too long ago, just like a few weeks ago, that's being edited, and it should be like being like it will be on their website, probably on like social media on Hockey Nova Scotia, and it's about the Halifax Mussels, and
Mhm.
there's a lot of interviews, not just with me, but with a lot of our players, and there's like footage of us playing, and we're like, some of us are mic'd while we're playing, and it's
Okay.
like some of the words that people brought up, like I got to hear all the there was like Hockey Nova Scotia invested a lot of money to do this video, and they used the same production company that has done a lot of work with Hockey Canada, and is very well done. I think I haven't seen like any of the videos, but any of the footage yet, but I will be getting an edit here soon. But like I got to listen, like the interviewer wanted me to be kind of right, and like I did my interview last, but
Mhm.
I picked the players that I really wanted to show our diversity within our group, and he just wanted to make sure he answered all, like, because I know them all personally, so he wanted to make sure that while he was interviewing them, that there wasn't anything he was missing. So I got to hear firsthand like what people said about the community, and what about the Mussels, and it was just like, to me, that was like one of the best days I've had, because I didn't realize like my the power that this group's brought, and it's just good that like the NHL is even putting us somewhere, right?
Mhm.
So, or putting us, like including us, which is amazing.
Mhm. What were some of the things that the players had said, if you remember?
um Again, like it's kind of funny, but like I didn't think that the locker room talk in other hockey groups was um also daunting to other players. Like I didn't know that. And we had one of the players really talked about like when they're in getting ready for the game, they get to talk about RuPaul's Drag Race, which is like a big competition show. It's kind of like
Mhm.
the Super Bowl for like gay people. Like we used to all gather
Right.
and watch it, because like it's kind of part of our culture now. So like literally they talk a lot about the conversations in the change room, like how it's it's not intimidating. Also that you know like one guy you'll see, Ryan Hackett, he'll kill me telling you this, but he was pretty nervous. Like he was kind of like our underdog, like so anxious showing up, and he really came out of his shell. Like uh, he was so nervous to come and play, and hadn't played hockey before. He had heard about the group. He just wanted to meet, like a lot of people want to meet gay people outside of a bar, because that's the only
Right.
place that we really go to.
Mhm.
There's not as many like avenues to meet gay people, like and have conversations with outside of drinking, I guess, and in Halifax anyway. But he was so nervous. But now like he's been with us for a few years, and he I made sure the interviewer knew that he had a journey, that now he's like playing in a straight league and our league. So he's
Wow.
playing 2 nights a week. Like he couldn't even skate backwards. He's like now a captain of one of our teams,
Wow.
and he's become, he's still like a little awkward, like shy, but holy, like he is so much more confident. And what a hockey player. Like he's like obsessed, and he also picks the teams. Like he really understands people's skill level to make sure that the teams are balanced. So he's part of our board. So like someone that was, very quiet and shy, and like I didn't think he was gonna a lot like stay with us too long, because it was very uncomfortable for him, to now being like a captain of one of our teams. Like off and on, we always have different captains that rotate, that make sure that the team has the lines ready, and like
Mhm.
has like some leadership on the team. And yeah, I was just, his story is amazing. The Jalen is the trans athlete that really made me want to continue with this program, like in the skills event. And he talked a lot about how he had given up hockey because he didn't feel like it belonged, and now he's like literally like one of our star players. Like he won Muscle of the Year in the first season. Like he had the most goals, most assists. He like no one could catch him. Gay, straight, lesbian, bi, whatever. The trans athletes is what, like, really, really, like, I don't know, it was a gift to really like play with them and learn from them, and to realize it's just about people. It's not about like your sexuality. Like we all connected through hockey and sport, and it really like it really makes you have experiences outside of the bar situation. And yeah, like that's what they kept saying was that. And then I also had one of my friends who, he was one of the guys that was being pulled by one of the coaches at the beginning. Like I didn't really have to sell it to him too much. He kind of does anything I like. He likes to be involved with anything that I start. So he was really like supportive. But he told me just the other day that the Halifax Mussels is one of the only places that he doesn't feel judged. Like everyone is considered equal, and there's no real hierarchy. Like there's no in some groups you can get like, I guess that, the mean girls or that kind of thing. Like, there's I guess the popularity thing, which I was always trying to have it, to survive in high school and even university. There's none of that. Like doesn't matter your age, like gender, what you look like large, skinny, awkward. Like if we were all standing in front of you, you would not really think we were a hockey team, but we are more than a team than people really know. And that's what really surprised me, is that the typical hockey player doesn't always look like, the typical hockey player on like TV. But well, anyway, it's just, I don't know, it's just all the testimonials were like really like warmed my heart, and I just feel like I'm ready to do more, maybe even in a different way, right? So
right. Mm-hmm. That's great. I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about. That was a great interview. Is there anything else that maybe I didn't bring up that you wanted to talk about?
Oh my God, I think I talked about way too much. I mean, I think that if I could say something about like the community, like the gay community, and there is a lot of I do want to thank like the other gay sports that helped me with the Mussels, which is including like our the loose ends curling and like the softball league. I had reached out to them also with like how to organize and set up like Facebook and all that kind of stuff, and get the word out. They also helped advertise for me. Okay. And try to get like, we collaborated a bit, and we even may even do, well, that was kind of the thing, because I curl and with the gay league and play hockey. We were thinking about doing a combined thing where we have multi-sport, a gay tournament, multi-sport here in Halifax, because the curling leagues in Canada, like gay curling leagues in Canada, are very established. So I was just lucky enough that my community accepted that there was another sport on the horizon, and they really accepted us, and now they want to team with us, which I thought was amazing. So so hopefully that happens eventually. And but yeah, I just hope that it keeps growing, and that more kids aren't scared to be involved and like and be athletic, and connect with their bodies and get strong and be confident. Like I would just wish it was something I could, like, if I could talk to myself as the 5-year-old, I'd be like saying that it's going to be all right. Like you just have to you have to trudge through like those years, and there was a lot that I learned trying to be straight, and it's not something I regret. I think it got me to this point because I'm more of a I'm a connector between the gay and straight world, or the LGBTQ plus, and the rest of the world. And because I lived both sides very intimately, I understand like how to communicate to like multiple people. And now even in my community, I really am starting to understand the stories, and I just hope that it keeps getting better and that we grow.
Hey everyone, it's me again, your host Billy Cole. Thanks for listening to the podcast this week. If you have any tips, suggestions, feedback, whatever it may be, you can email me at billycole8@outlook.com, or the podcast email, which is maritimedeluxe@gmail.com. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, billycole_, or the podcast Instagram, which is Maritime Deluxe. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next time.